If you put MVM at any point in the past few years, you probably have stumbled upon a hacker, and typically it looks like this. There's a sniper sitting on an ammo pack or near a level 3 dispenser with max range just farming pots. And typically, people tend to stick around for the free ride. However, as someone who values their time and wants to waste it gambling as efficiently as possible, I feel that it is my duty to inform both cheaters and non-cheaters about the many ways in which you can optimize your tours. Let's begin.
Starting out, I want to talk about how cheaters are able to get tours done so fast, and to do that, we need to take a look at the toolbox that you'll see the majority of cheaters using.
Firstly, and most importantly, is the Ghost Upgrade VPK. This is the custom file that allows players to duplicate money. The way this works is by reviewing MVM upgrades that were never actually implemented into the final code of the game mode, but were never actually removed.
Most commonly, we'll see this being used in conjunction with the vaccinator, as it's the easiest and most efficient way to duplicate money. Note, however, that you need at least 600 credits to do this, and it can only be performed on the first round of a mission. You can do this by walking into the nearest buy station, upgrade your Uber charge rate twice, leave without confirming, re-enter the buy station, subtract the upgrade, and then refund. After doing this, go back in and proceed to buy both upgrades and then subtract both upgrades. Leave without confirming. Doing so will net you 300 to 600 credits. And, fun fact, anyone can do this, cheating or not. No program is required in order to do this, meaning there is absolutely zero chance of you being VAC banned, as we are just abusing features that were never fully removed.
The next tool in our toolbox is the nav mesh, or more like how we abuse the nav mesh. For those unaware, the nav mesh, or navigation mesh, is like an invisible map that stores information that helps bots find their way around the map as well as shoot at you. Despite the nav mesh covering the majority of the map, however, there are a few spots where it does not. And, by using some clever teleporter placements, you can become completely invisible to these spots. We'll be using 2 cities to showcase this, as it's the most popular tour in the game.
Starting on Rottenberg, I'll be showing you 2 spots. For the first one, go ahead and pick Engineer. Buy whichever upgrades you want, however, I typically go for Dispenser Range first and Building Hill second. 2A isn't needed, as the majority of cheats have an instant respawn, but you can go ahead and pick up whatever you like. Leaving spawn, you can place your teleporter entrance wherever you'd like. Moving to the front of the map, place your teleporter here. Moving to the left, place your dispenser here. Once you've done that, hop back through your teleporter, step off it, and then go back through. Doing this resets your location data and is what makes the spot work. If you've done everything properly, then congrats! Bots will no longer shoot at you. But despite how good this spot already is, it can be taken one step further. By moving the dispenser behind this fence, it hides it from the box line of sight. Note, however, that for this spot to work, you will need to teleport up to the rock and jump to the fence after maxing your jump height.
Moving on to Manhattan. We have only one spot this time, but it's the only spot you'll ever need. Same upgrades as before, but if you have the Ghost Upgrade VPK installed, I suggest duping, as you can't hide the dispenser from the bots on this map, so having plenty of health will be helpful. Starting out in the back of the map, place your teleporter entrance anywhere. After you've done that, make your way over to these barrels located by Gate A and put your dispenser in this cubby. Hop on top of it and then put your teleporter exit on top of the barrels. And congrats, that's literally all it takes. And now I want to go a little more in depth about not just how this works, but why it works. If you remember, I previously talked about how the nav mesh was just an invisible map that stores information. But what exactly does that mean? Let's say your map is inside of this rectangle. You spawn here and the bots spawn here. And then this is the path they take with the bob. And then all around the map, there are different props that decorate, provide cover to the player, and overall just add characters to the map. The majority of props will not have a nav mesh attached to them, but because you were just on the surface that did, bots will be able to receive that information and use it to aim at you. But what if your location data was stored somewhere else? Somewhere that the bots couldn't see or receive the information until they actually got to it? Well, this is actually what makes GotSpots function. By teleporting on top of a prop without map mesh, you can remain completely unseen by the bots as long as you don't touch the ground. And if you do that, they won't be able to do a single thing about you.
Next up, I want to talk about tanks. I said before that a typical site is just a bunch of hacking snipers, but it's pretty well known that tanks have bullet resistance, and with such a large health pool, how did cheaters really deal with them? Well, in one of two ways. Firstly, by crit hacking. While the name is pretty self-explanatory, here's a history of what it is and how it worked versus how it works now. Before February 22nd, 2013, the crit system worked by sending messages to the server called command lines. For every input you made, whether that was moving, shooting, scoping in, cloaking, etc. And after X amount of command lines, you would get a random crit. However, there was a major flaw in the system. Cheaters were able to repeatedly send the same command line containing the crit information on repeat as the entire system was handled client-side to server-side, meaning cheaters had access to the information locally on their machine and therefore could manipulate it. After February 22nd, 2013, though, a new system was implemented, adding 3 different ways Valve managed who did and didn't get crits. These checks were 1. Checking command numbers to make sure they weren't the same ones every time. 2. A check on the ratio of critical damage to normal damage. This meant if you got too many criticals too quickly, you would be banned from getting Mora until you dealt a certain amount of normal damage. And 3. The crit bucket, which adds the base damage of your weapon up, and once you reach 3 times that amount, will reward you with a 2% chance of getting a random crit. Despite Valve's efforts though, cheats now allow users to manage when they use their crits rather than spitting them out once you get lucky and get that 2% chance to shoot a crit. This does not apply to melee weapons though, so if you ever see someone getting too many melee crits, they're probably cheating. Since with crit hacks, you can melee 10 times in a row and crit every single time, which is statistically impossible. For context, you have a 1 in 976 sextillion, 562 quintillion, 500 quadrillion chance of landing 10 random crits in under 10 seconds. You'd be more likely to win the lottery every month for 10 years straight than do this once in your life legitimately. History/statistics lessons done. Thanks, Shonik. Now for the second method, the flawed.
Moving on, I've given enough information about cheaters and their toolbox, so now it's time to talk to our legit friends out there who play the game as intended and what they can do to help or hurt cheaters. Shutting out, if you join a game and see that the majority of the team are medics, 75% of them are probably cheating. Now, there's a few things you can do. 1, you can grief, but if you join a lobby and everybody's medic, chances are they're partied and will kick you from the server. You can still spam rejoin by selecting the map and joining an in-progress game, but good luck stopping 4 aimbot snipers from killing anything before it becomes too big of a problem, or before one of them goes pyro to play volleyball with you. 2, going engineer and doing the setups you saw earlier. Unfortunately, some cheaters aren't very personable or nice, so there's a chance some might kick you on site just because. So enabling them through engineer is a pretty surefire way of not only speeding things up for yourself, but securing your loot. And the third and final option is just leaving the game and requeuing. If you do stick around though as engineer or otherwise, try and keep these few things in mind. Don't stand near the snipers. They're invisible and you aren't. So they'll probably end up getting shot or blown up because of you if you linger around them for long enough. So if you stumble upon a toxic group of cheaters, the most annoying thing you can do is literally just stand near them after touching the ground. Next, invisible snipers don't need a medic. They'll never be shot at anyways. Go pyro and help with bosses by air blasting them into a pick or by keeping them around the area that dropped to let the snipers note their health away. And that's it. There's really nothing more I have to say. Cheaters shockingly make MVM much easier, so there's really not many tips to give. I have a few more video ideas in the store, and so if you like this one, stay tuned and let me know what you think. Anyways though, I wasted too much time here and mean to get back to gambling, so see ya.